Okay, hello fourth graders. So as promised, here are some videos on how to do long division. I want you to start with, you should have two worksheets and start with the one with this side, okay? So what we're gonna do is a video for this worksheet, then you're going to do an ed puzzle, and then you're going to do a video for the second worksheet. For this first worksheet, you're just simply going to follow along and you'll get an easy 100. Now make sure that you do not start this video, so pause it if you need to, if you have not done the Give Me 5. Make sure you complete the Give Me 5. We will check it together as a class on Thursday, and for Ms. Thompson's class, we'll check it on Friday. Okay, so make sure you do the Give Me 5. Now for this, this is just a little mini anchor chart to help you with long division, because remember we introduced it yesterday. We only did a few problems, so today we're going to do some more problems. First, I want to talk about some vocabulary. So yesterday we talked about a number divided by another number. There's vocabulary for that. So the large number that goes inside of the little house here, that's called the divot end. And then the number on the outside that you're dividing by is called the divisor. The answer is called the quotient. So just some vocabulary for you to keep in mind. Okay, now what we're going to do is, for this little anchor chart, you're going to write down some notes to help you with your other worksheets. So remember, yesterday we talked about this little mnemonic device of dad, mom, sister, brother, and rover, and then you keep on repeating until you get to the end, and those stand for something. So let's talk about that first. So in this box, I want you to write dad, because the D stands for dad, but it also means divide. So you should be writing what I'm writing, dad and then divide. The M stands for what? It stands for mom. And what operation? Multiply. If I'm going too fast at any point, you have the luxury of pausing it to catch up. So make sure you pause it as you need to. The next one, our S, stands for sister and subtract. And then our B stands for brother. And in division, it means bring down. And then last but not least, our R stands for rover, our pet dog Rover. So we have our whole family here. And then for the actual division part, it stands for remainder. Okay, so make sure you have these little notes in there. Now we're going to actually divide 357 divided by 7. Okay, so what I want you to do is when you see a division problem today, you're going to make a top-bottom chart like what we did yesterday. You're only going to make one because you're going to make it based on what the divisor is. So our divisor on this one is a 7. So down at the bottom here, I want you to make your top-bottom chart based on 7. So you can make a real simple table here by making a horizontal line, and we're just going to do our 7s. And on the top, you're going to write 0 through 9. Kind of spread them out. I didn't do a very good job there. Okay, and then you can just kind of make a little division here. I should have left more room. Okay, and then remember, you're taking 0 times your top number to get your bottom number. So 7 times your top number to get your bottom number. So 7 times 0 is 0. 7 times 1 is 7. 7 times 2 is 14. 7 times 2 is 21. And so on and so forth. So go ahead and fill that out. Pause it so you can fill it out. And I'm going to do it as well. Okay, so we have our top-bottom chart. It's a little bit of extra work, but it's going to help you so much when you're dividing. Okay, so now let's use this to help us divide. So we're going to go through our steps here, and we're going to start with dividing, okay? We're gonna see first, does 7 go into 3? Always start with the number closest to the divisor. And you'll see here on the bottom, you're gonna look at your bottom chart. No, it doesn't go into 3 at all, it's 0, right? So you're gonna put a 0 here. And now you're gonna look at 35. So how many times does 7 go into 35? Some of you might know that off the top of your head. If you don't, then that's what this top bottom chart is for. So you're gonna find 35 at the bottom, or if you don't see the exact number, find the closest number without going over. So I'm gonna go along the bottom, and I see a 35 here. So how many times does 7 go into 35? Well, it says on the top, and that is 5 times. So I'm going to write 5 up here. I'm gonna make sure I write my 5 right above the 5 and the 35. It's very important to keep place value here, okay? And then you're going to do multiply. So I'm gonna take my divisor times my current quotient, which is 5. So 7 times 5 is 35, and write it right below the number that I divided by. And then we're at sister for subtract. We're gonna subtract these two numbers. 35 minus 35 is 0. And we are not done because I still have a number here. So I'm going to be at brother, bring down. I'm gonna bring this 7 just down next to the 0. And now I'm taking 7 divided by 7, okay? 7 divided by 7, you're gonna look for right here, this number on your top bottom chart, 7 right here. 7 goes into 7 one time. So you're going to write the 1 above the 7. Okay, 7 times 1 is 7. I'm at multiply. And now I'm at subtract. 7 minus 7 is 0. Now there's nothing to bring down. There's nothing else here. And I don't even have a remainder. So your remainder is 0, so it's even. So your answer is 51. Okay, go ahead and pause if you need to complete that and make sure you have it all filled out. Pause it, and then we're going to do the other side. Okay, so now on our other side, we're going to do these 4 problems. We're going to do number 1 is 755 divided by 7. So first, near the bottom here, I need you to make another top bottom chart. Now it's 7 again. You're going to make it whatever the divisor is your top bottom chart. So I'm gonna make my line here, and I'm doing my 7s, which I just did. So it should be kind of easy. And yes, you have to do this for all of them today at least. You should get really good at your multiples after this. Okay, so 7 times 0 is 0, 7 times 1 is 7, 7 times 2 is 14, 7 times 3 is 21, 7 times 4 is 28. I should have spaced them out more. 7 times 5 is 35, 7 times 6 is 42, 7 times 7 is 49, 7 times 8 is 56, and 7 times 9 is 63. Now if you need to use your multiplication chart while you're doing that, that is fine. Okay, now we're ready to divide. 755 divided by 7. So first look at your first number, and how many times does 7 go into 7? Well, you can see 7 down here. It goes in 1 time. So I'm going to write a 1 up here. Okay, and then I'm going to, so I just divided, so now I'm going to multiply the 2. 7 times 1 is 7. And now I'm going to do sister subtract. 7 minus 7 is 0. I still have my numbers hanging out over here, so that means I have to do brother, bring down the 5. How many times does 7 go into 5? Now this one's tricky because if you look, 7 does not go into 5, right? So you either have to find the number at the bottom or the number closest without going over. Well, 7 is over, so it's going to be 0 up here. Okay, so 7 times 0 is 0. subtract. So I still have 5 here, and I'm going to bring down my other 5. So now I have 7 divided by 55, okay? 55 divided by 7. So now find your 55 here without going over. So I have a 56, but that's too big, so I need to go down to 49. So I'm going to write the 7, because 7 times 7 is 49. And I'm going to write the number 49 that's on the bottom, goes on the bottom here. That's why they call it a top-bottom chart, because the top number goes on the top, the bottom number goes on the bottom. And then I'm going to sister subtract 55 times 49. Well, if you got to borrow, go ahead. Some of you can do that in your head. 15 times minus 9 is 6. 7 does not go into 6. Okay, so we're done. So that means my remainder is 6. So my answer is 107 with a remainder of 6. Pause it if you need to fill that out. Next one, 576 divided by 9. So first I want you to make your top bottom chart with 9s. Trying to space them out better this time. Oh, and I ran out of room. I'm gonna get it right one of these times. Y'all are probably better at it than me. Okay, so 9 times everything. So 9 times 0 is 0. 9 times 1 is 9. 9 times 2 is 18. 9 times 3 is 27. 9 times 4 is 36. 9 times 5 is 45. 9 times 6 is 54. 9 times 7 is 63. 9 times 8 is 72. And 9 times 9 is 81. Okay, so now we're ready to divide. Like I said, a little step that goes a long way. So look at your first digit, the 5. Does 9 go into 5? No, if this number on the inside is smaller than the outside, then you write a 0. Okay, you have to find a number that's at least bigger than the divisor. So now let's look at 57. How many times does 9 go into 57? Well, let's look at our top bottom chart. We're gonna find where 57 would go. It'd go right here. We can't go over, so we have to go with 54, okay? So 9 goes into 57 6 times, look at the top number, and 9 times 6 is 54, so your 54 would go right below. So now I'm at sister subtract. 57 minus 54 is 3, and brother bring down the 6. Now how many times does 9 go into 36? Look at your top bottom chart. 36 exactly, we've got 4. So I'm gonna put the 4 up with my quotient, and then my 9 times 4, 36 would go down here. Subtract, and you get no remainder. Now, how am I gonna check this? If I'm like, oh man, I don't know if that's right. How would I check it? Well, you're gonna do the opposite of division. What's the opposite of division? It's multiplication. So you're actually gonna take your quotient that you got times your divisor and see if you get your dividend. So over to the side, I want you to take 64 times 9. Pause it for a second and take 64 times 9 and see what you get. Try it on your own. All right, you should have gotten 576. So look, it matches out. So I know that I got the right answer. All right, so since long division is new to us, you can always check your answer with multiplication. Okay, number 3, we're taking 217 divided by 3. So first, make your top bottom chart at the bottom here. And what number are you gonna base your top bottom chart on? The 3. Whatever number's on the outside of that box. So go ahead and fill in your numbers. did that kind of quick because I don't want to have too long of a video, but y'all can pause it if you need to. Okay, now we're ready to divide. So we've got 2 divided by 3. Well, too small. Remember, it's got to be, it can't be less than the outside number. So now we're going to do a 0 here. And then now we're doing 21 divided by 3. Well, look to see if you have a 21 on the bottom. I do. I have it exactly, and it is 7. So 3 goes into 21 7 times. My 7 goes on the top. My 21 goes right below that 21. So we just did D and M. We divided and then we multiplied. Now we're going to S subtract. 21 minus 21 is 0. B, bring down the 7. And now how many times does 3 go into 7? Well, 9 is too big, so it's got to be 6. So it goes in twice. So I'm going to write my 2 up here. And 3 times 2 is 6, goes down here, and I'm going to subtract. 7 minus 6 is 1. I've got no more numbers to bring down, so I have 72 with a remainder of 1. Now, if I want to check this one, just like number 2, I would take my quotient times my divisor. So 2 times 3 is 6, 7 times 3 is 21. But then if you have a remainder, you need to add that in to check your answer. So I'm going to add 1, and I get 217, and that matches. Okay, pause if you need to catch up. And let's do our last one. 638 divided by 4. Okay, let's make our top bottom chart of 4s. I'm going to go ahead and fill it out. Y'all should be filling it out too. Okay, pause if you need to. And let's go ahead and divide. So we're going to first look at our first number, 6 divided by 4. Well, the 6 is actually bigger than the 4, so I can do that. 6 divided by 4 only goes 1 time. Okay, because 8 is too big. So I divided it, and now I'm going to multiply these 2 numbers. 4 times 1 is 4. Then I'll subtract these 2, and I have 2 left over. Then I'm going to bring down my 3. Okay, now I'm taking 4 divided by 23. So look for a 23 down here without going over. Where would it be? Where would it be? 23. 24 is too big. It'd be right in between here. So we have to use 20. So 24 goes into 23 5 times, because 5 times 4 is 20. And then we'll subtract them. 23 minus 20 is 3. I still have another number, so let's bring that down. And now I'm looking at 38 divided by 4. Okay, look at your top bottom chart for a 38 without going over. Well, it looks like it would be 9. Well, I know 4 times 10 would be too big because that's 40. So it must be 9. Okay, so let's do 9 up here. 4 times 9 is 36. Subtract and you get 2. I almost ran into my top bottom chart. And we are done because 2 is too small. So we have a remainder of 2. 159 with a remainder of 2. And you can check it by taking 159 times 4, my quotient times my divisor, and then add your remainder. And it checks out. Okay, make sure you have all of that written down. And now I want you to hang on to this piece of paper, and you're going to go ahead and do the Ed puzzle that's in Google Classroom.